We want to get to our reporter, Chris Rogers, who's been in Pinellas County. And Chris, earlier, yesterday, you were outside the St. Pete Pier. Where are you this morning?
Yeah, Caitlin, good morning. Frank, good morning. We are on 14th Street right now in St. Petersburg. You mentioned our friends down in Fort Myers a moment ago. Obviously, the damage here is significantly less than they're seeing there, but you can see some pretty heavily downed trees behind me. This is a large tree on 14th Street that's been completely uprooted, stopping anyone from traversing this area. Now, originally we were a little concerned because it looked like maybe some down power lines came down with it, but those actually turn out to be kind of some fluorescent lighting that's been strung across the street. And this is a good reminder, however, to remind people at home when they're out assessing damage this morning to avoid those down power lines. I know that you guys have been reiterating that for the last couple of days, but it's always important to remind people to avoid those down power lines. This is not that situation. The power lines are further north to us, but I will say this is kind of a familiar scene as we've driven around this morning. So if you're leaving the house this morning to assess damaged property, potentially to check in on friends and family, definitely pack your patience, because there are a lot of roadways that have scenes just like this one right here. And another reminder, we're not seeing as heavy winds as we were yesterday, obviously. It's actually noticeably calmer, of course, but a lot of these trees have loosened a little bit. We've been kind of walking around out here this morning with our flashlights, taking a look at the base of trees, and this is an area that, even though it seems pretty chaotic right now, that we deemed was actually pretty safe to show you guys from a visual perspective. In Largo, up to the northwest of us, there's some shopping plazas that we'll check in with you a little bit later that have some significant damage, some of the big signs going down there. So wind damage is really the name of the game right now here in southern Pinellas County. Obviously, power outages are a big issue as well, as they are across the Bay Area. I mean, just driving around this morning, there was not a light on unless there was a generator. So, I mean, the street we're on right now, if you want to pan around, my photojournalist, you can just see it is pitch black. None of these houses have lights on. So, I mean, in this area of Pinellas County, at least, power is out and trees are down. So that is something to keep in mind this morning if you are out and about in southern Pinellas County. Obviously, the damage could have been so much worse in this area, and the damage is so much worse in so many other parts of southwest Florida. But right now, this is kind of the name of the game. There's a lot of downed trees. There's a lot of debris in the roadway. So driving could be a real issue this morning. Just be aware of your surroundings. That is really the motto, is be aware of your surroundings. Know if there's down power lines. Know that you're going to probably have to take some alternate routes when you're driving this morning. There is so many trees down. There are power lines down. There are signs down. Businesses have been damaged. But wind damage is really what we're going to be assessing this morning. The full picture probably won't be very clear, obviously, as it won't be across southwest Florida until the sun starts to come up this morning. But just what we've seen so far in the last hour or so, this has been really the full picture is that there is trees down everywhere. There's businesses that have been damaged, homes that have been damaged. So that's what we're seeing so far this morning. Coming up a little bit later, guys, we are going to check in with you from Largo, where we're hearing reports of significant wind damage there as well. So we are really going to be all over this county this morning, just seeing what people are experiencing, talking with people, seeing what they experience. We're going to be talking about power outages. We're going to be hearing from officials this morning about when power is expected to be restored as well. Guys?
Are you able
Yes,
to...
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm just wondering, too, kind of the sense of what it feels like weather-wise out there right now. We spoke with Liz in Wesley Chapel, really gusty winds there. Aaron Parsegian this morning is in Polk County, where the rain's still coming down. Looks like it's pretty dry there, but what are the conditions like outside right now?
Yeah, and I heard Aaron and Liz's reports just a little bit ago, and it sounds like they're experiencing much more significant weather than we are here. It is actually pretty peaceful out here right now. We're getting a couple gusts, but nothing like we experienced yesterday. There's no rain right now. The wind gusts are significantly less than they were yesterday. So, I mean, you can kind of get a sense of it as compared to some of our live shots yesterday. The wind is not that bad at all. We're kind of in a protected area right now, but things have really seemed to calm down, at least in this part of southern Pinellas County. We're going to get a more clear picture as we travel around further around the county, but right now in southern Pinellas Pinellas County, we're waking up to a much calmer morning, which is very good news for the folks living here, Caitlin.
That is great news. Chris, quick question for you, because you've been in the mix for some time now covering these types of storms as well. You said you drove around for a minute there. This apparently the best case scenario of the worst situation that one could even imagine right there. You got downed trees surrounding you. What else did you see out there? Put it into perspective for us.
Yeah, Frank, I think that you summed it up actually perfectly. This is the best case scenario in what could have been a worst case scenario, and in many cases is a worst case scenario for folks further south. But I think that for what it could have been, people living here in southern Pinellas County will be very grateful that downed trees are going to be some of the worst of the problems. Now, to paint a clearer picture, what we're seeing just briefly this morning driving around is just a lot of trees, debris, right? I mean, we knew that was going to be the case, but down power lines have been a real problem as well. Obviously, power is out for this entire area, and my photojournalist now giving you kind of a look at what is pretty typical on a lot of these streets around here. You're going to see pretty big branches, trees down, leaves, palm fronds, those types of things. That's been kind of what we've seen so far. Obviously, as we travel further throughout the county, it is potentially there could be more damage throughout the county. But right now, if this is what the case is here in Pinellas County as the sun comes up and power outages and downed trees are the worst of the problems, I think that a lot of folks will be waking up this morning just praying and being very grateful for the situation here right now.
Yeah. Chris, thank you so much. We'll check back with you in a little bit. I know, again, as we see the sunrise, we're going to see a whole lot more